What is up, guys, and welcome to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video. It is that time of the month again, time for another top 10 Zetas video. And the characters we're going to be going over today are the absolute best Zeta characters in the game. The last few months I've changed it up where I've also done a list where I've done the characters that aren't Hero's Journey, aren't legendary, that are easier for people to obtain, and I'm going to do that again too. We're going to do a Zeta list on those characters as well, but these are the top 10 plus 5 honorable mention absolute best Zeta characters in the game. When I say characters, let's say we have Jedi Knight Revan, who has 3 Zetas here. I'm not going to take up 3 spots with each of his Zetas. He's only going to count for 1 spot. I will tell you which Zeta is probably the most important, or the one that I think is the most important, but you'll get the general drift of what we're talking about here. Again, these are in no particular order, and I would like you to leave comments in the comment section below on if you agree or disagree with me, because I have a feeling there could be some heat in this situation. So, of course, we're going to start out with Darth Revan. Okay, a meta-defining character, not as meta-defining as I thought he would be, actually. I think we need Darth Malak to really help complete this team, because they can still lose to Palpatine teams easily. Some Jedi Knight Revan teams can beat him, and you have to switch mods around so much. That's just a disaster. But his Zetas are Lord of the Sith, Conqueror, and Villain. In my opinion, Villain is probably the least important. The equalizing the health with the other healthiest ally. Conqueror is extremely important because enemies can't assist or attack again if their attack is targeting Darth Revan. This completely stops Jedi Knight Revan in his tracks when he uses Mark. It also prevents General Kenobi from calling in a mass assist. He's going to be much more survivable. And then Lord of the Sith, Sith Empire allies are immune to turn meter reduction while they are debuffed, so they're not going to be able to lose any turn meter reduction. Conqueror is extremely important. Maybe potentially more important than the leadership ability, but usually you want to go with the leadership ability first. So Darth Revan is on the list. Next, we're going to go with Jedi Knight Revan, and his Zetas include Direct Focus, which is extremely important in mirror matches, which was a nightmare, because when you get this Zeta, it allows you to add buff immunity, dispel, and increase their cooldowns by 1, and potentially stun the target for 1 turn as well. Then you have General. Again, I'm not going to read through these abilities. You guys can take the time to do that. And then Hero, the second unique here, makes him immune to stun and ability block and stuff like that. So Jedi Knight Revan, still very, very prevalent in the game. Still a great character. Next, oh boy, Emperor Palpatine. He used to be on this list. He was off for a while. He is back on because of his ability to counter Darth Revan teams. I'm going to make a video here in a little bit, actually, on how you can take him out a little easier, in my opinion, with Darth Revan teams, because they're extremely hard. His leadership ability right here, the Zeta aspect of it, this is the most important. When a debuff on an enemy expires, Empire and Sith allies gain 5% turn meter. When you still have Darkside Bastila in this team, and she's going to be giving a bunch of debuffs, and those debuffs are going to continually be, I don't want to say cleanse, they're going to go away. There's times you're going to face a Palpatine team and you're not even going to get to go with a Darth Revan team. So he is on this list because that he can help take out one of the meta-defining teams right now. And he adds some diversity to it. Again, I don't like it as much because we have to switch mods a lot. But it is what it is. Next, Jolee. Jolee is still extremely important, guys. And he's going to be extremely important for a long time because there's going to be Jedi teams in the future that are going to continue to work out and stuff like that, and his ability is always going to be extremely helpful. It's the that looks pretty bad ability. Add Revive all defeated Jedi allies at 80% health with crit hit immunity for 5 turns. This made mirror matches against Jedi Knight Revan teams absolute nightmares, and he's on this list because Jedi Knight Revan is still in the meta, and he's going to be useful in the future as well because he's a great healer. He can take a lot of damage. And it doesn't just say Old Republic allies here either, guys. It says Jedi. So if another Jedi meta comes, he could be very, very useful again as well. So he's on this list. Next is Bastila Shan, the original Bastila Shan. Like I said, this list is the best Zetas in the game overall, in my opinion. And her, her leadership ability, initiative, add one turn taunt on Jedi tank allies at the start of the turn. Add 150% tenacity with protection up. This is absolutely amazing. This leadership ability comes in. It allows you... It takes so many hits to be able to get all of that extra protection down. Plus, when you have that, you're gaining a bunch of tenacity, by the way, as well. As you see here, 150% tenacity and deal 35% more damage. You're not going to be able to be given any debuffs either. She is still great in that reason, especially in Territory Wars and Grand Arena. You can split up certain teams. You can have a Bastila lead and a Jedi Knight Revan lead, and it's going to help you diversify your lineups that much better. And she is on this list. If you disagree with me, let me know, but I seriously think she deserves to be on this list. Next, one I fought with, but he really helps create the Darth Revan team, and he's really fun to use, and that's HK47. And his most important one right here is probably loyalty to the Maker. Is if HK47's leader is Darth Revan, enemies with protection up can't gain bonus turn meter. Excuse me, that actually isn't the most important one. The self-reconstruction one is the most important one. When HK47 uses an ability during his turn, it deals 25% more damage if the target has Death Mark or Fear. You're going to be dealing a lot more damage because there's going to be a lot of fear being spread around. And actually, now that I say this, self-reconstruction and loyalty to the Maker are probably both equally important. When I read through them, sometimes I go like, oh, this is the way it should be. They're both equally important, but they really do help that Darth Revan team take, it takes it to the next level. And I think when we get a new character added in there, it's going to be even better. So he's definitely a character to consider Zating if you have Darth Revan. And I want you all to remember, if you don't have Darth Revan, I'm going to make a video for those of you that don't have Darth Revan as well. So you're not going to be panicking. You're not going to be like, I don't have any of these characters. So, just relax. Next, Grandmaster Yoda. You got to include Grandmaster Yoda because he still can do a ton of damage. He's great in raids. He's great in Territory War. He's great in Grand Arena. And it is his battle meditation ability, which allows people, gain foresight for 2 turns, plus 50% turn meter gain chance, and an additional 10% turn meter for each other living Jedi ally. Turn meter, foresight. It's not going to work nearly as well anymore against the Darth Revan team, but when you're with the Jedi Knight Revan teams and you're going to use them in different aspects of the game, that Zeta ability with Grandmaster Yoda and the damage he can do, guys, is still extremely important. I still have him on this list. Some people may argue with me, but that's the way it is. Next is Mother Talzin. Okay, Night Sisters usually could be honorable mention and stuff like that, but with her ability to be used with the Darth Revan team with Zombie, her leadership ability is great, first of all, because I finally got it done, and this also allows you, when you use them in Grand Arena, Territory War, Raids, or whatever, to be able to revive, stuff like that, be able to call to assist and stuff like that. But Plague Bearer is extremely important, especially when you're playing with Darth Revan. When any unit falls below half health, Talzin gains 35% turn meter, so she's going to be gaining turn meter throughout the battle because there's going to be a lot of people falling below half health. And when any unit, it says, by the way, not just just friendly units, when any unit falls below half health, Talzin gains 35% turn meter. So that is very helpful, and Night Sisters are very good as well. And as you can see, for those of you who know that I've been struggling leveling up my Night Sisters, I'm finally getting there. Finally working on them. Next, Darth Traya. I actually struggled thinking about putting her on this list, but the reason she is on this list is because in Grand Arena, Territory War, you can use her in 3v3. You can use her as a leader. She can almost win against any match on offense, okay? Almost any team you play against on offense except a Jet. And, well, if you use Grand Admiral Thrawn at times, you can still beat Jedi Knight Revan. But any other team she's going to be able to beat. And her Lord of Betrayal, at the start of each Sith ally's turn, Traya dispels all debuffs on them and deals damage equal to 5% of their max health for each debuff dispelled, which is exactly why you would never want to use her in a Darth Revan lineup when you're facing Palpatine, because they're dispelling a lot of debuffs. And then her leadership ability, when an enemy uses an ability outside of their turn, they take damage equal to 35% of their max health. This damage can't defeat enemies. When an enemy gains a buff outside of their turn, they lose 50% offense until the end of their next turn. She is still probably the one of the top 5 characters in the game, and that's why she's on this list. She is still a raid character, and those Zetas do help. And like I said, in Grand Arena, Territory War, in certain aspects of the raids, you're going to be able to go in, use her, and easily beat any teams on offense. And as you can see, I just got her to 7 stars today. I'm so pumped about that. And I got a few Gear 12 pieces on her as well, so that is cool. Now, the last person on the top 10 list here that's not, I still have honorable mention. And this is what was a struggle for me to determine which of these characters to put on honorable mention and which one of these characters to not. Jedi Training Rey is going to be the character that finishes off the top 10. Some of you may disagree with me in that aspect, but hear me out. For the Heroic Sith raid, she can single-handedly, especially with the rework with Finn now, do a ton of damage to phase 1 of the Heroic Sith raid for you guys that are just starting that. She can beat a lot of teams on offense. Her inspirational presence, guys, when you're able to continually gain turn meter, or the opposing team's able to lose turn meter when special abilities are used and there's reduction of cooldowns, she is just amazing in that aspect. I know some of you are going to disagree with me here, but I find in all aspects of the game, I never lay her on defense in any aspect. I always use her on offense. And let me tell you, I always win with her on offense as well. Grand Arena, Territory War, I don't think I've lost with her because of her abilities. You use her with BB-8, Resistance Trooper, sometimes Scavenger Ray, Finn, R2 at certain times, but it is... There's different lineups that can work, but she rounds off the top 10. She was one of those that it really tore me apart when I was sitting here thinking about it, but I think she deserves to be on that. Now for the honorable mention. I'm going to tell you right now, there's no Kylo Ren Unmasked, there's no Darth Sion, there's no Chewbacca, and there's no Grand Admiral Thrawn. I know people are going to hate me about that, but they're going to be included on a different list. Let's talk about the top 5 honorable mention now. Obviously, first character, CLS, because the CLS team with Raid Han, Chewie, R2, I use L3, you can use 3PO in those teams, can wipe out Traya teams on offense. It Binds All Things ability is the most important because it's a mini leadership ability that you don't have to be in the leadership slot to use. The Rebel Maneuvers actually might, it was probably a little bit more helpful recently whenever an enemy resisted detrimental effect. Rebel allies gain 5% turn meter, especially when you were running against Jedi Knight Revan teams and Bastila teams, but probably not as much anymore. It's Binds All Things is the #1 Zeta, and I still love Commander Luke Skywalker because when you put him in a lineup with Raid Han, Chewie, you get a bunch of bonus offense from R2. It's probably the biggest damage dealers in the game, and it's so much fun to use. So he is definitely in the top 5 honorable mention. He's been a character that's been in the top 10 for the longest time. Next, we have R2-D2. Man, R2-D2 is still an amazing character. Both of his Zetas are amazing. Combat analysis. While R2-D2 is active whenever a light side ally scores a critical hit, dispel all debuffs on them. It's a passive cleanse, guys. You can't ask for much better than that, and especially most teams you're going to use R2-D2 with is going to be constantly critting and stuff like that. This helps in Phase 1 of the Heroic Sith raid. Actually, somebody asked me, do some of those effects wear off first? Is something I'm going to have to research. But not only that, the number crunch, this is what really gets me going. At the start of battle and when R2-D2 is revived, other droid, Galactic Republic, Rebel, and Resistance allies gain 10% of R2-D2's max protection, offense, max health, and potency until R2-D2 is defeated. And I've stated this many, many times. I love modding him with absolute as much offense as possible. Offense in every spot, because he's going to be transferring those stats over to the other characters, and they're going to be doing more damage because of it, and it just becomes so much fun to use. And he's going to be able to fit into light side lineups, in my opinion, for the longest time. He's going to be a character that's going to continue to be usable because of the ability. Both of these abilities, Combat Analysis and Number Crunch, are going to be able to be used for a long time because of the factions that they are able to help. Next, we have BB-8. You can't forget about BB-8. I mean, he is the other droid that Illuminated Destiny can single-handedly ruin teams. It can single-handedly do so much damage. You can solo the tank raid with BB-8. The turn meter gain, he's so much fun to use when you use him in Phase 1 of the Heroic Sith raid, because the Illuminated Destiny. His most important Zeta is Roll with the Punches, because it's when BB-8 attacks out of turn, he calls a random a resistance ally to assist. You're going to be able to call him out of turn with Jedi Training Rey, and with C-3PO. There's going to be a lot of assists going on. It's a ton of fun. Now, Self-Preservation Protocol, I don't have Zeta'd, but actually this is not a bad Zeta, especially if you want to be extremely survivable with them in a droid lineup as well. When BB-8 evades, droid allies recover 8% health and 8% protection. And he could be evading a lot because you can give Foresight. A lot of that can spread around, especially with Illuminated Destiny. So BB-8 is definitely on the honorable mention list as well. Next, oh, Old Faithful, Raid Han. Raid Han has been on here for the longest time, and it's strictly because of the damage that he's able to give. I know some of you are going to say that I can't believe you didn't put 3PO in this lineup. Well, he's just not utilized enough yet by some people. He's great in some instances, but in my opinion, Raid Han is much more important, and Han Solo is actually what technically the name is. We all call him Raid Han. His shoots first ability, he's gaining critical chance, and then he's able to attack again, okay? So he's attacking twice, dealing 50% less damage the second time. I'm going to actually kind of break from the video right now and tell you guys we're in the middle of an ice storm, and the power is blinking in my house. And I swear on my life that if the power blinks out while I'm filming this video for the 50th time, I am going to lose my crap. So let's just hope that doesn't happen. Raid Han, definitely do the shoots first Zeta, and get him, you know, get him leveled up and to gear 12 and stuff for the Falcon as well, because that's going to be extremely helpful. And now the last person on this list that we're going to talk about that I put as an honorable mention is none other than Bossk. In my opinion, he's the best bounty hunter leader. He's going to help you get Chewbacca. His leadership ability is what's the most important, guys, because whenever an enemy suffers a debuff or resist, all bounty hunter allies recover 5% health and protection. Oh my gosh, you're recovering health, you're recovering protection, and not only that, with him in the leadership slot, you're gaining more defense, health, protection, and tenacity as well. It makes the entire bounty hunter team that much more survivable. Some people argue that they think Jango is better. I completely disagree with them. I think it's easy. I got Chewbacca unlocked with Bossk in the leadership. Some people got him with Boba. But Bossk is that one character, you know, he can make an entire bounty hunter lineup viable with his leadership ability, especially on defense, and that's why I included him in the honorable mention, because that Zeta can actually, without this Zeta, guys, the bounty hunters wouldn't be nearly as useful. Okay, you're going to say, well, let's use Boba or Greedo or Jango in the leadership spot, because most people lay bounty hunters on defense. Most people use Bossk lead when you lay them on defense. It's that lead that helps him survive. That's why he's so useful. And again, he's not important in arena, but for grand arena territory wars, that leadership ability is amazing. So there you have it, guys. That rounds off the top 10 plus 5 honorable mention best Zetas in the game, in my opinion. I want you guys to let me know what you think. Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? Give me some constructive criticism. For those of you that just like to be mean, give me just regular criticism, then I don't care. But remember that we're also going to be doing another top 10 Zetas video on characters that aren't legendary, that aren't Hero's Journey, that are great characters to get in the game. They're going to help you progress in the game as well. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please smash the subscribe button, like the video, click the notification bell so you can be alerted to all videos that I post. I'm also leaving a link to my Discord server and Patreon page in the description below. Make sure you check that out, and leave comments in the comment section below, like I said, and video ideas. Video ideas are what keep the channel going, guys. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video. Otherwise, peace out, and may the Force be with you.